Hi, hello, welcome back to another week, another video. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Alexi, and on my channel, I like to teach you how to live a happier and healthier lifestyle. Today, we're tracking macros. I want to talk about tracking macros today because I feel like it's often something that people have a lot of questions about, and I think it can be a little overwhelming in the beginning when you have no idea what's happening and you're trying to figure out how to do it. What is it? What does it mean? Usually I feel like people want to track their macros because they're looking to lose weight, but we can track our macros for a bunch of different reasons. I'm also going to take you through the process of me tracking food today, so I'm going to show you as well how to actually do it. You will need a scale for this. I recommend getting a scale if you want to track your macros and be specific. If you're interested in like a recommendation, I'll leave one down below, like a link to like a random Amazon one, but you can get scales like anywhere. And I'm pretty sure they're as less as $10, depending on like what bells and whistles you want in your scale. You just need something that's gonna weigh in different forms. Is that how you say it? Forms, like grams, ounces, those kinds of things. That's what you're generally looking for, but I think every scale has those settings for the most part. So if you're interested in learning how to track your macros, or maybe you want to learn something new about tracking your macros or see a different perspective of it or on it, then keep on watching this video. As always, if you like content like this, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button. If you want to learn more about food and how to master your diet and your nutrition, let me know in the comments down below. And without further ado, let's get on into the video. Let's start with what is a macro. Macro stands for macronutrient. A macronutrient is nutrients that our body needs in large quantities. Think of your macronutrients as your proteins, fats, and your carbs. So there are tons of macro calculators that you can find online. And I'm going to tell you some of the calculators and numbers and calculations that you can do from my Precision Nutrition Level 1 book and certification. That way, if you want a calculator to follow or you want to start in this way, you can. However, this is typically not how I recommend starting tracking your macros. The way that I teach my clients to track macros is we just start by tracking what they're already doing. So I completely bypass the calculator because I don't want to tell people what to eat. I just want to know what you're already eating so that we can gain the knowledge and the feedback. Everything is feedback to us to let us know what we need to do or how to navigate in order to push ourselves in the direction of whatever goal or whatever thing we're reaching and striving to. If you're only eating, I don't know, like 50 grams of protein in your day, and you do this macronutrient calculator, and now it's telling you to eat way over 100 grams, is that really doable? It could be, but it may not be. That much of a drastic jump might also just disrupt your digestive system and what you're already doing in your day. So I usually like to have my clients just track, get a general idea as to what food looks like, how to track, what portion sizes look like, how do I currently just generally eat throughout the day without maybe thinking about it, and then setting targets off of those numbers. For example, most of the time people are not eating enough protein, and that's usually the first thing that I have my clients focus on. So even if you're just tracking your macros to make sure that you're hitting your protein needs, I think that's a great tool for macro tracking as well. I think macro tracking is a great thing to give you the general idea as to what is in food and what portion sizes look like. I don't think tracking your macros is something that I personally want to do or think I should do every single day. It gets very tedious. In the past, I have previously found that I allowed it to consume my life. I didn't eat something until it was weighed and tracked in MyFitnessPal, and that dictated whether I could eat it or not. That was a very toxic relationship with my food at that point. And this is something that I like to have this open conversation with my clients when we start talking about tracking macros, because this is very well something that can happen. Usually I let them know, hey, this is what could potentially happen. This is some of my personal experience. If you notice something like this starting to happen or develop, let's talk about it so we can adjust so that we don't create this negative relationship with food. Like, that's number one. We don't want this obsessive controlling of our food. It does not need to be like that. Again, I just want to reiterate that this lifestyle does not need to be crazy, and we're not looking for these drastic things to have to do and keep up with day in and day out. Because I don't know about you, but I don't want to track my food for the rest of my life. But because I've built the skill and the knowledge of tracking my food in the past, I now have created this more intuitive eating plan for myself, and I don't have to really think about it anymore. Or if I'm out and I don't have a scale, I know what my portion sizes look like, and I'm pretty good at eyeballing things. So I'm just gonna put a screen up, and you can very easily screenshot or pause and write down if this is something that you wanna do. So you would pick your activity level and then whatever your goal was, whether you wanted to lose weight, maintain, or gain weight. And then you would multiply that by your weight, and then that's going to give you the total amount of calories that the calculator assumes you should be eating. If you're looking for just a general number, you can always start here. If we are figuring all of this out on your own and we're doing the calculator, you also will need to know that 1 gram of protein will be equivalent to 4 calories, just as well as 1 gram of carbohydrates or carbs will be 4 calories, and then your fat is going to be 9 grams of calories. So 1 gram of fat, 9 grams of calories. So with this is where you can break down that caloric number into your percentages and your individual macronutrients. So this is another thing. There's many different percentages of macronutrients that you can eat. Part of tracking your macros is also learning what you like and what works for you as well. So I think you have to be a little bit open and receptive to the whole no failure only feedback, and just collecting that feedback to tell you what to do next or what does and does not work for you. You always want to be checking in, saying what is working, what's not working, what is working, I want to do more of that, what's not working, let's look at it, why is it not working, what's not working about it, so that we can understand to make it into something that can work. Again, there's no like X, Y, Z way to do things. It's all dependent upon you, the individual. So personally, with percentages, I like to eat in a 30-40-30, meaning 30% of my calories come from protein, 40% of my calories come from carbohydrates, and 30% of my calories come from fat. And this is just something that personally I feel the best in. So this is how I eat. This is what I've found works for me. I remember when I started tracking macros, I did the 40-40-20. So 40% from carbohydrates, 40% from protein, and 20% from fat. But you want to remember what the ultimate goal is as well. You want to make sure that you're eating for performance and function as well. There's a lot of things that we can go very into depth about this, as well as to how to do things for specific goals. But for this video, in this context, we're just learning how to track macros. So if you're just learning, I would pick maybe a percentage that is close to what you are currently doing, and then go from there, or do a little bit more research to understand what exactly it is that you want to do. I recommend for most of the people watching this video to just start with protein. If you're looking to gain muscle, lose body fat, get stronger, 1 gram per pound of body weight, awesome. If not, you want to slowly start to work yourself up to that number. Using myself, for example, I weigh 140 pounds today when I woke up. I am focusing on getting at least 140 grams of protein every single day. For some people, that is a lot of protein. For some people, you're not even able to get 100 grams. So if you're eating under 100 grams of protein, that could be very challenging for you. So this is where I recommend just meeting yourself where you're at and moving one step better, one step further in that direction, right? We're getting out of the all or nothing. Instead of thinking, I have to go from 50 grams of protein to 140 grams of protein, let's just try and add 1 serving of protein in your day. So that would look like 20 grams of protein. That seems a lot more doable than 90 grams of protein. So I would then recommend, okay, if you're consistently getting 50 grams of protein every single day, then let's just strive for 70 grams of protein every single day. Make that be the baseline that you hit. If you go over, awesome, but always make sure that you're hitting that 70 grams of protein. When that becomes consistent, we turn the dial up a little bit more and you just add another 10 to 20 grams. Whatever you feel comfortable with doing is what I recommend you do. Whatever you think you can consistently stick to every single day is how you want to make those adjustments. I use MyFitnessPal. You can use whatever macro counter you would like to, whatever one you feel comfortable with. The only thing I recommend, especially with MyFitnessPal, is make sure that what you're entering is correct. Like, make sure you look at it on the screen and make sure you're looking at the label, because MyFitnessPal has a tendency to sometimes be incorrect. But once you log something enough times, it will start to auto-save like what you regularly log. I want to show you how to measure things on a scale. What I'm going to do is my super shake. My blender is on the scale. In this setting, I'm going to be using grams to measure. I usually do 3 scoops of protein powder. I'm just gonna do what I normally do. I normally don't measure it. I just feel it in the scoop and I do 3 scoops, but there's like basically nothing in here and that's gonna be really annoying to do. So we're gonna do this and we're actually gonna measure it today. This is how I get the last of the protein out. We have 53 grams. 30.4 grams is about 1 scoop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out my calculator, and since I'm doing 3 scoops, I'm going to do 30.4 times 3, which is 91.2 grams. So I need 91.2 grams of protein powder in here. I will be using different flavors. That can matter if the macros are different, but we're gonna pretend it's the same kind because I'm not tracking my macros that much. And this is where, like, if you really wanted to be meticulous about it, that stuff does matter, because this, the weight is 31 grams, so this is a little bit different. If you were being very meticulous about this, I would track the 53 grams of that, and then I would track the remaining grams of this, but listen, I don't got time for that. 91 to 92 grams is where we're gonna land. We are at 83 right now, 95, a little bit more. If I was being very meticulous about this, I would make it exactly spot on. However, I am not, but that does matter if you want to be meticulous about it, or we're talking like show status. Next, we're doing oats. I just pour it directly into the blender on my scale, but the important thing is you need to tear out your scale, because right now my scale says 95. So if I start to pour the oats in, then I gotta do the mental math in my head, and I am not a mental math kind of gal. So I'm gonna tear out my scale, and now my scale says 0 grams. Now I'm going to pour my oats in. 60 grams. I always do my dry ingredients first because then things don't get as like caked in the blender. If you watch the super shake video, you know that. Next, I got my super greens powder, and this is also a scooper, so I just do a nice generous scoop. Again, if you want to be meticulous, I would make sure your scoop is very leveled off. Next, I like to add fruit in my blender here. So again, gonna tear out the scale so that the scale says 0. This is what's left of banana here, and then fruit. So again, gonna tear it out so that it's at 0, because I'm not doing mental math, and I'm just adding whatever I feel like. So we're at 104. Lastly, we've got the almond milk. I like to weigh things based off of whatever the label says, because that's usually how you're gonna find it, like in MyFitnessPal, to track your calories. So if you wanna make your life easy, always weigh it based off of what the nutrition label says. This nutrition label says milliliters, so I'm going to change my scale to milliliters. We got 240. Let me tell you, this is hard to measure sometimes. Ooh, on the money! So now that that's done, I'm gonna blend her up so I can drink her because I'm hungry. Now I'm going to track everything in MyFitnessPal while I enjoy my shake. If you are trying to hit a specific macro target, this is something that you might want to figure out how to do first before you make it, to make sure that you hit your target. But if you're just trying to get a general idea as to what you already eat, then I would just eat how you eat, track it, and then figure it all out. So this is very regular for me. I don't have to think about it. I don't really even weigh my stuff out. The only thing I measure is my oats. Everything else I eyeball. I typically track my macros as a way to check in with myself. So every once in a while, I'll track a day just to see where my current calories are at, but I do not do this every day. It is way too tedious for me, and I'm very consistent on a day-to-day basis. I eat pretty much the same thing every single day, so my diet doesn't change too much. And this is just something that I've developed over time. Like, I used to very meticulously track my macros. So again, just go into this with the mindset of learning about you, getting feedback from your body, and then going from there. There is no right or wrong way. MyFitnessPal is great because they have a scan a barcode spot that you can use. So I'm going to use the oats as an example, and I'm going to scan my oats. So you just scan the label, and then the entire nutrition label will show up. So the serving size is half a cup uncooked. So let's just make sure it lines up. We've got 150 calories, correct. 2.5 grams of fat, correct. 27 carbohydrates, correct. 5 grams of protein, correct. Perfect. Most of the time when you scan it, it's good. It's when you manually enter things that you are more likely to find the wrong information for the label. So since the serving size is 40 grams and I had 60 grams, I'm going to change the serving size to 1.5 because I had 1.5 serving sizes. Hit check. Perfect. Next up, we got the almond milk. Same thing. I'm going to scan the barcode, and I had 1 serving size, which is 1 cup or 240 milliliters. Perfect. Oh, I gotta check, make sure it's correct. We've got 30 calories, 2.5 grams of fat, 1 carbohydrates, 1 protein. Perfect. Check. Next, we have the protein powder. Here is really easy because I can go through stuff I've entered in the past. And let's see, there's my whey protein. Perfect. I'm just gonna add it. It says 2 scoops, so I'm gonna have to go back in and make it 3 scoops because technically I had 3 scoops. I'm just tracking the chocolate. I'm not tracking the strawberry. I don't care that much. It's basically the same. Then we had strawberries. So I'm going to search strawberries. And I already have strawberries logged in here. But again, if you're searching for things for the first time, you can always do a Google search if you want to kind of cross-reference that. If I want to be more specific, I'm going to leave it, what is happening? I'm going to leave it at 1 grams, and I'm going to put 104. That way I can be specific. Hit my check mark. Awesome. Banana. It's already at 100. I'm going to change it to 1 gram because I had 70 grams. 70 grams. Perfect. Then we have the greens powder, which again, it's already been logged, so it's really easy for me to find it. I know that the serving size is 10 grams because I checked the label already. Again, just always make sure that the label matches up with what you're tracking. Make sure the serving sizes match up as well, because that is where it can get hairy if you're not paying attention and you'll enter the wrong serving size of something. You definitely don't want that to happen. This is a hefty shake. This is usually something in my day-to-day that I just drink in 2 different meals. So in my shake, we have 81 grams of protein, 80 grams of carbohydrates, and 13 grams of fat. If you're tracking things like rice, meat, all the same rules apply. I'm gonna use my meat that is defrosting right now as an example. So I'm gonna search Signature Farms, 93% lean ground beef. 180 calories. So I'm just gonna look for the one that's 180 calories. 8 grams of fat, should be 0 carbs, 24 protein. Perfect. So this one is correct. Say I have white rice, which I love to eat, white rice, and I'm gonna type in cooked because we're not trying to do it uncooked. I'm just gonna pick the first one, which has a little nice green check mark next to it. we're gonna go off of that one. Like I said, do a quick Google search. If you're unsure, Google will tell you what the correct macronutrients are, or the macronutrient breakdown for whatever you want to know. I personally do not track my vegetables whenever I'm tracking my food. Again, this is something that if you're getting really meticulous about it, matters. But if you're just generally tracking, I won't worry about it too much. But I would measure vegetables at least in the beginning so that you can get a good understanding as to what is in different vegetables, because there will be different macronutrient breakdowns in your vegetables as well. I forgot. I'm going to show you how to weigh this peanut butter out, because this is a different way that you can also use your scale to weigh out some of the foods that you might potentially be weighing out. Like if you have olive oil that you want to add, or something like peanut butter. This method works, I think, a little bit better. I'm going to place my peanut butter on the scale, and then I'm going to turn my scale on. If my scale was off, remember, if I place the peanut butter on the scale, it's going to give me a reading, and I'm going to have to tear it out. So I'm going to set my scale to 0, and I'm going to put it on grams, because that's how the peanut butter is weighed. And then I'm going to take my spoon, and I'm going to put my spoon in the peanut butter, and I'm going to take out some peanut butter from my jar. Now my scale says 10 grams. So instead of like taking the peanut butter out, smearing it on, trying to weigh the bread on the scale, that can get hairy sometimes. So this is a much easier way to measure your peanut butter. That's how to measure things like peanut butter. Much easier way. I think tracking your macros is a great skill to have, just to give you more general awareness as to how you eat, what portion sizes look like, and what is in food in terms of macronutrients and how much. And it gives you that skill to be able to just kind of do this on your own in your head without having to think about it. So I do not think this is an end-all be-all. I think it is a great tool. I think if you've never tracked your macros and you're in the health and wellness lifestyle, you want to lose weight, gain muscle, get strong, all of that, I think tracking your macros is a very valuable skill. I hope this answers and teaches you how to track your macros. I know this video is very long. I don't know how to make it any shorter without giving you all the information I want to give you, and I'm always going to feel like I'm missing something. If you have any specific questions, please leave them in the comment section down below. I will respond as soon as possible just to make sure I can answer your questions so you can figure out how to do this on your own. If you want any more additional macro videos or in-depth videos, also let me know that in the comments down below. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up button and start keeping a lookout for videos on Monday, because we're making that the official day again. I will be posting every week on Monday. Don't miss out on an upload. Don't forget to hit the bell, subscribe, turn on your notifications, the whole dealio, so that you don't miss out on a video. I'm looking forward to, and I'm very excited to keep creating this kind of educational content for you. So let me know what you want to learn. Thank you so much for watching, and until next week, I'll see you on Monday. Bye.
You stole my heart of gold after my silver soul.